And we're going to admit everyone.
Yay!
Okay, I think slowly we're having others join us. Wonderful.
Okay. Hi, everybody. We just admitted in. We're going to get started in just a minute. We want to welcome you tonight to IVCC's Transfer College Connections Night. So just as a start, before we get going, we are on Zoom. We do ask that you have your cameras off and your should be on mute as well. So please make sure you do that, and we'll get started in just a minute. Okay, we'll just give it another 30 seconds to see if anyone else adds in. So again, we'd like to welcome you all to IVCC's Transfer College Connections Night. Since we're on Zoom, please, just to start, make sure you're on mute and your cameras are turned off. And we'll get started soon. Azra, do you think we're good to go?
I think we are. We're going to make do with what we can.
Okay. So like I said, welcome to Illinois Valley Community College's Transfer College Connections Night. Just like I said, please make sure you stay with your cameras off and you are muted throughout the presentation. Some other quick things about being on Zoom. If you do have any questions during the presentation for any of the presenters or for anyone, for Azrat from IV or Renee from IVCC, please use the chat function. And if you go to the chat function at the bottom of your screen, you can pick to who the message is going to. If you feel like you need to ask everyone, you can ask everyone. But if you have specific questions to a specific college rep, please feel free to put it on that person. We're going to introduce everyone's names in just 1 second. But that'll be an easy way so you can get a question and they can answer that maybe as another part of the presentation is going on. We will also have a Q&A at the end. We'll kind of decide how long it's going to go, but you will be able to answer some questions at the end as well. And the college reps will be giving out their email addresses if you need that, and or private Zoom links where you can maybe chat with them as well at the end of the presentation. So to get started, we kind of want to do some introductions. My name is Lauren Yates. I am a counselor at Ottawa Township High School, and I will be your moderator this evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Azrat Loveland. I serve as the Assistant Director for Admissions, Records, and Transfer Services here at the college at IVCC, and we're really excited about this event. One thing that Lauren didn't share is that this is our second year. We're really excited in collaborating and really getting university partners and really helping high school students and current IVCC students understand what the heck they're doing when it comes to transfer planning and the process. And so we figured we'd bring the experts at these universities to really talk about what, questions or things that are on students' minds.
Paige, I think you're next.
Yeah, hi guys, my name is Paige. It took me a minute to unmute there, but I am the transfer admission counselor for Bradley University here in Peoria, Illinois.
And I believe we have Becky. She might be having some technical difficulties, but probably will be joining us later.
I am actually here. Can you hear me?
Here. Oh, perfect.
Yes. And I don't know why my screen says I'm Jack. That's my son.
Oh.
So I don't know what's going on with my Zoom account, but I am here and happy to be here. I am the Director of Admission, Transfer Admission at St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa.
Hi everyone, I am Morgan Johnson and I am one of our transfer admissions counselors with Illinois State University. We're located over in Bloomington Normal, Illinois.
Hello
everybody. My name is Tedra Muherter. I am the Transfer Admissions Counselor for Northern Illinois University, and this is my second event. So this is the second year. It is a beautifully put together event. So I wanted to thank our hosts, and we hope to get some engagement from you students and families.
And my name is Renee Prine. I'm one of the counselors at IVCC. And although it's the first time I'm attending this event, I'm going on my 24th year at IVCC as a counselor.
Okay, so before we begin, I'm going to give everyone a kind of an overview of what today's program is. So we're going to talk about transfer population. So each of the college reps will talk about what their transfer population looks like at their college or university. They'll talk about different percentages, kind of different stats about what that transfer population looks like. They'll talk about transfer resources, so those resources that are available to all students who are thinking about transferring. The ever so important housing. Where are you going to live when you get to campus when you're transferred? We're going to talk about student services and involvement. So just because you are transferring doesn't mean you can't be involved. Even if you weren't there your freshman and sophomore year, or even just your freshman year, there's still opportunities to be involved on the campuses. Scholarships, there are transfer scholarships. So each college rep will talk about their scholarship process for scholarships. And then they're going to round out the presentation with talking about the different application processes of how to go about applying to transfer to their college or university. And of course, at the end, like I said, we will have a Q&A. And I will say it again, if you feel like you do need to ask a question during the presentation to that rep, feel free to use the chat and chat them on the side as well. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Azeret to talk a little bit about IVCC.
Yes, so IVCC, you're probably like wondering, what? I thought we were talking about the universities and how to transfer. So the reason why I'd like to quickly just make a quick note about IVCC is that really it's a really great opportunity for many of our students in the district as a starting place, whether it's getting a couple of general education courses out of the way, taking a summer class. There's a lot of flexibility in it. So that's one of the big pieces we want to mention. And also when it comes to being a student here, there are tons of things you can do, whether it's trying to figure out a schedule where you're able to not only work part-time, but take some night classes, some online classes. And I know right now is not ideal with everything going on, but online has been pretty prevalent for many of our students in just a situation. So we're here, we have some local support, and so we wanted to share that information. Another really big piece is GPA. So many of our students, when they move on, so for instance, ISU, NIU, our university partners share GPA information with us, and that data is very important because we can then see what are we doing right. And what we're seeing is that a lot of our students are doing really well just on the same level as the native student at that university or even better. So I always like to kind of show off, talking about how great our students do academically once they transfer. The other one given is debt-free. A lot of our students come away leaving IVCC debt-free because they were able to really figure out things financially, and we're very affordable. And then of course, the reason why we're here tonight is the relationships with our universities. I cannot tell you enough how wonderful it is to be able to collaborate, to call them, to email and just say, hey, we're working on a course. How can we look at and see this could get it articulated? We have plenty of opportunities to do articulation conferences with our university partners. And I'm sure Renee can share a little bit more about what that looks like from our side.
Thanks, Azeret. So yeah, definitely. We work with students on a daily basis, helping them plan their transfer experience here at IVCC. Some of the questions we may ask you coming in may be, have you considered a major? Are you undecided? Do you know what you want to do? Do you have schools that you may want to transfer to? Give me your top 3 and we'll make it work. And, you want to be able to sometimes apply to all of those schools. And so we try to tailor your experience here at IVCC for what your needs are, whether it's your major, whether it's your transfer school. And that's how we start your course planning. And we work closely with those universities on that plan and making sure that you go in once you transfer, whether you have IAI general education package, whether you have our Associate of Arts or Associate of Science degree, or whether we're just getting you to meet the general education requirements at that college or university, allowing you, your best resource to transfer because your major is going to be 3 years once you get to the institution. So whatever that may be, that's our job. Our job is to assist you in making those right choices and choosing those right classes. And we use course articulation guides that we put together. Each counselor is assigned to a different school. We work with every school pretty much, or we'll tailor an individual guide just for you and your major. So we will work with the universities however we can to make sure that if you transfer in as a sophomore, you're at the same level that those sophomores were if they started at the university. And if you transfer as a junior, we want to make sure that you're on that level playing field and get those same options and affordabilities as the student that started there as a freshman.
Okay. So before I turn it over to the college reps to talk about their first section, we're going to start off by talking about transfer population. What's important to know when looking at a school is what their transfer population looks like. How many students are transferring to their school? What the grade point average or what the academics look like for the transfer population, just because that gives you a feel of how many other students are like you on campus. So to get started, we're going to turn it over to Becky to talk about St. Ambrose.
Okay, thank you. So as I mentioned, St. Ambrose University is located in Davenport, Iowa, so we're just about an hour and 40 minutes or so from the IVCC campus. We're located in the Quad Cities. So we are a relatively small Midwestern university. We have about 3,600 3,600 total students on campus. And each year we welcome over 200 new transfer students to campus. So that's important to know because you certainly aren't the only transfer student that will be joining us. So we have a couple programs that are specific to transfer students. We have a new mentor program. So all new transfer students who join us in the fall semester are assigned a transfer mentor, which is one of our current students, and it's their job to assist you with the transition to campus. And they're also very involved in our transfer orientation, which is just for our new incoming students. Because we are a relatively small campus, our staff to faculty ratio is 11:1. So you're really going to have an opportunity to get to know your professors on an individual basis. And a couple other notes, we offer priority advising and registration to our transfer students. So you will be able to register with our current juniors and seniors on campus. And you will also meet with a faculty advisor. So while it's my job to help you with the transition to the university,
Oh, technical difficulty.
oops. Hello?
Hey, I'm not sure what happened there, but my screen just froze and then I was muted and then it froze again. But I am Paige. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Bradley University. We have approximately 6,000 students total. It's actually a little bit under that. I want to say 5,700-ish last time we counted, but 300 of those students are transfer students. Since we work with so many transfers, we offer several resources that are geared specifically towards that. We have an optional transfer student social organization, which you can be a part of. You can choose not to be a part of it, but you get to meet other transfer students and do fun activities throughout the community and on campus. We also have a transfer specific orientation. We know that you have different questions and needs than the students coming in as freshmen. So the orientation geared specifically for you as a transfer student is a great resource. You are eligible for priority registration, meaning that you can sign up for classes before all of the current students on campus to guarantee that you get the classes that you need. Something unique about Bradley is that as a transfer student, we do offer direct admission into all of our majors, meaning that you're going to get your hands-on experience the first semester that you start at Bradley. So if you are an engineering major, you're going to be in the makerspace lab creating things your first semester. You're going to be utilizing our 3D printers, our robotics lab. If you're in the sciences, you're going to be starting your research right away your first semester. Our goal for the Liberal Arts and Sciences College is to have you nationally published and to present at a national convention before you graduate. So with the direct admin opportunity, you're able to start that as soon as you come. I mention all of those great opportunities to put that in relation to our class size. Our average class size is about 21 students, which is a 12-to-1 student ratio and not much different than the ratio that you would have at IVCC. So it's a pretty smooth transition and a similar class size for those that want the opportunities of a larger university with the personalized, more exceptional learning of a smaller university. We also have faculty advising, so you're going to have full-on PhDs teaching entry-level classes, and those professors are actually going to be the ones advising you and guiding you through your college career here at Bradley and helping you sign up for classes.
All right, so at Illinois State, we have around 21,000 students in total, but about 1 in 3 students on campus are transfer students. So you have a very large population on campus. I was a transfer student myself to ISU, and I definitely thought I was going to come in alone, but you're going to be finding transfer students all over, whether in your major or just wherever you're living. Our transfer students are also graduating at higher rates than some of our native students. So last year, about 45% of our graduating class were transfer students. And to put in perspective, our transfer students, about 81% are coming from a community college. So you're definitely not alone, again, in that aspect. And around 32% of those students are coming in with an associate's degree. It's not required. But that is just something else to take into consideration, that you can work with your advisors at IVCC to work through that or not, but we can still ensure a smooth transfer into ISU.
Hello. So our student population is pretty diverse, which is super exciting. We are a mid-sized institution, so not too large, not too small. Community is the primary thing that we like to stress at NIU. About 49% of our students are transfer students. Our average class size is 24. We have a 16-to-1 student to faculty ratio, and we do have additional peer-to-peer mentoring for transfer students. It's called Transfer to Transfer, as well as an onboarding course for our transfer students called UNIV 201. I happen to teach that course and love it. It's an opportunity for students to really engage in the campus and get connected to those resources. And our transfer students do exceptionally well, retention-wise and graduation-wise. So we do have all those wraparound services to help our students to acclimate to our campus.
Okay, so the next topic that the college reps are going to talk about are transfer resources. So what resources are available to students when they transfer, and what transfer resources are there in the process of transferring?
Okay, so one of the great resources that St. Ambrose has are transfer equivalency information. This can be found on our website. So you're able to search what courses transfer easily from Illinois Valley Community College. If for some reason you are taking a course that doesn't seem to be listed on the transfer equivalency page, please contact me and we'll make sure that we get you that information. We also have a dual admission program with local community colleges. So this is a way for students who are at the community college to feel connected to the St. Ambrose University campus. It allows you to have an academic advisor on both campuses, as well as participate in any on-campus events that our current students can participate in. So you're able to go to a free sporting event, anything at our Fine Arts Center, all of the opportunities that our current students have, dual admission students have as well. In addition, if you enroll in our dual admission program, which is completely free, you are given an extra scholarship once you transfer to St. Ambrose. So I am the transfer admissions counselor. I'm a part of a team of 3, and it is our job to work directly with students to help you with all aspects of the transfer process. So from the point of visiting campus, going through your financial aid, making sure you understand what your costs are, housing, advising, and registration. Again, my job to help you with all of those steps. Our Career Center on campus is an office that we want students to get connected with early and make frequent connections with them. So they are going to be the office on campus that helps you work on interview skills, resume writing, and especially finding an internship opportunity within the Quad Cities. So while we are a smaller school, one of the great things is that we're in a larger metropolitan area that gives you those great internship opportunities. Our Student Success Center is the office on campus that helps for 100 and 200 level classes and helps you connect with professors and other classmates for courses at the upper level division, 300, 400 level courses. And I already mentioned our Transfer Mentor program, and then we also offer services for our veteran students wanting to utilize any benefits.
Here at Bradley, we also have equivalency guides that are available on our website. I have posted the link for you since it's a fairly small link, but I like to just go to bradley.edu and type in equivalency guide in the search bar and it'll pop right up for you. We have guides available from IVCC, but every other junior college in the state of Illinois. You can see what classes are offered there and how they transfer to Bradley. Also, if you want to just send me a copy of your transcript, I'm happy to create an unofficial evaluation for you anytime. We have a transfer center here at Bradley, meaning our freshman admissions office is separate from our transfer admissions office. So that's me, I'm the transfer center. So if you have any questions, direct them towards me, housing, application, financial aid, all of those. I will help walk you through that. We have another office of transfer student assistance in the Smith Career Center, and similar to the other universities, this is what's going to help you job search. They actually recruit for the employers in the city of Peoria. So we are Caterpillar's headquarters. We have OSF, St. Francis, all your major hospitals here. And the Smith Career Center partners with local employers like that to recruit Bradley students. So they'll help you with your resume. They'll help you with interviews. They'll help you find internships. It's a great resource there. And as well as the Academic Success Center, that's going to help you with your classes. They offer free tutoring, one-on-one tutoring sessions for students, so that's beneficial. And we also have a course that is geared specifically for transfer students. It's called the University Experience course. You don't have to take it, but it's about 50 minutes long. It's 1 credit hour, and it puts you in a class with a bunch of other transfer students, and you can do just learn about the transfer opportunities on campus, opportunities to help you succeed and get together and do fun activities outside of classroom hours. So.
For Illinois State, we also have, very similar to the other schools, credit guides to show you how any of your IVCC credit is going to transfer into Illinois State. We do have these for all 48 Illinois community colleges, so for if any reason you've taken credit somewhere else, we can definitely help with that as well. Similar to Bradley, you can also just send us your unofficial transcript and we can work up an unofficial evaluation to help with that. One nice thing that we do have is something called our Transfer Major Admission Guide. And this is a document that's available to you online, and it will lay out what is required to transfer into any single one of our majors here at Illinois State. So as a transfer student, every major requires something different for direct admission. So we lay this out for you. We'll let you know exactly what courses are needed for your major, what the minimum GPA is. And then leading into the next bullet, we also recommend specific courses for your major. So these are courses that, again, aren't necessarily required to get into your program, but they're going to be required for your degree. So if you can get them done at IVCC for a little bit cheaper of a price, you might as well. And then it also helps you stay on track to graduate on time with your program. Another great resource that we offer is a program called Redbird Promise. So this is a guaranteed admissions program between IVCC and ISU. And this essentially states that if you plan to get your associates, either associates in arts or science from IVCC, and leave there with at least a 2.4 GPA, we're guaranteeing your admission into Illinois State by meeting those requirements. So that is going to get you undeclared admission at least 4 years prior to actually starting at the university. So you can sign up for this as early as being a high school junior, a high school senior, and it's allowing us to get in touch with you early so you know what those resources are, how to find them, and that way you're making smart and strategic choices with your courses at IVCC. So that way you have a smooth transition eventually into ISU. We also do offer quite a few student support services. So we do offer tutoring services, and we have a student success center. Those are both going to offer tutoring for a lot of your courses here on campus, as well as you're going to find seminars to learn how to maybe just manage your time a little bit better, how to learn how to study, or even just learn how to stop procrastinating, because they do want to make sure you're going to be the most successful student with us at ISU. So you're going to see quite a few different student support services around there as well. Like many other schools, we have quite a few resources. These are just a few to name. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat and we can always list out more.
So at NIU, just like everybody else, we do have those transfer guides available for you students. I did want to talk a little bit about language, because in college we have our terms that we're all used to. So articulation is just fancy college people speak for how your credit is transferring directly from IVCC to NIU or ISU or any of our colleges here. And so we do have those available along with the 4-year guide so that you can see, like, moving forward what you're going to be taking. We also have the guaranteed admission program agreement with IVCC. And so what that gives you access to essentially is that early on advisement. Our criteria is to have 24 credit hours complete and a 2.0 cumulative GPA, and to be in good standing at IVCC, which I'm sure you all are. So we do have that agreement so that you can once again have that early contact. We also now have, as a transfer resource, a TRIO program. We just got our grant back. We're super excited. This once again provides those wraparound services for you students who are low income, first generation, and or students with disabilities. So it provides that extra, that kind of inclusive and intensive advising. We have post-traditional student services on campus. So any student who's not a first-time freshman living in the residence hall is considered a post-traditional student. And so that would be y'all transfer students. And so we have lots of resources, including a commuter center for you, and lots of, when we go back to normal and back on campus, they have a lot of lunch and learns and barbecues and just social events so that our transfer students are getting to meet other students and feeling included in our Husky community. We also have our Plus programs. These are so geared towards our transfer students in that you are learning those critical skills: leadership, soft skills for employment. You have opportunities to do your internships, to learn about how to get an internship. And of course, we do have, I'll probably say UNIV 201. That transfer course is just, it's not mandatory, but it is strongly, strongly recommended. We have a lot of fun in that class, and it's all about, once again, meeting people, building your network, building that social capital. So lots of resources I'll talk about much, much more on another slide.
Okay, the all-important transfer housing. So obviously right now you're going to IV or considering going to IV and then possibly transferring. But where exactly are you going to live, and how does that work once you get to that school you're transferring to? I'm going to turn it over to Becky to talk about how this all works at St. Ambrose.
Okay, thank you. So students who transfer to St. Ambrose at the junior level are not required to live on campus, but the majority of our transfer students do choose to live in one of our university residence halls. So coming in as a junior, you're eligible for our campus apartments, which are typically 2 bedrooms per apartment, 2 individuals per room, with a common living area, kitchen, and bath. We also have townhouses on campus and university-owned houses that surround campus. So you have several options as far as where you're able to live once you arrive. All of our facilities are close to classrooms, the library, athletic and recreational facilities. So we're a pretty compact campus, and so you're able to get from your residence halls to different buildings very easily. We also have weekly housekeeping that comes in and takes care of any cleaning items. Utilities, cable, and internet are included with your room charges. And then we also have residence life, security, and our physical plant staff members that are all available to assist you with your needs. So if you are wanting to get involved and do some programming on campus, your resident advisor would be the person that you could go to that will get you connected to the different activities on campus. A couple other things to mention, all students who live on campus are required to have a meal plan. So there are different meal plans that you can select from, as well as your housing options. So we have a great interactive map on our website that will give you some different pictures of the different residence halls on campus. So I would encourage you to visit those.
When you transfer to Bradley, you have the option of living anywhere on campus or off, wherever you prefer. Off campus is the most popular. We have two complexes that we work very closely with. They are within a block of campus, so they're very, very close. St. James Apartment Complex and Main Street Commons, fully furnished. Main Street Commons has a 24-hour gym and tanning salon and flat screen TVs, so you can't beat that. On campus, Student Apartment Complex is our most popular singles complex if you want an apartment all to yourself. Those are obviously available off campus also. And then College Hall is popular because it has a floor geared specifically towards transfer students. You're not required to live on this floor, but if you want to live with some other students that are in the same boat as you and getting to know people and socialize, that's a great option there. If none of these sound appealing to you, our housing department has a list of landlords around the area that they work closely with for houses and apartments that are available for rent nearby.
For ISU, we do have a 2-year live-on requirement. So you're required to live on campus for 2 years following your high school graduation date. So it'll really depend on when you decide to leave IVCC as to whether or not you'll be required to live on campus. If you are required to live on campus, there are 4 different, what we like to call neighborhoods that is used for undergraduate housing. One of those is Hewitt and Manchester Hall. That one is very special to me because that one is where we house our transfer floor. So there is, similar to Bradley, a transfer floor for students who want to get to know other students who are new to campus, who've been in their shoes, who've kind of came from a similar background. And I'm also one of the faculty mentors for that floor, so you get to see me all year round. One of the other options is Tri-Towers. So this is a cluster of 3 residence halls very closely located together with a dining center that is kind of attached in the middle. This one's a little bit farther from campus, but it's not any farther than 3 songs on your phone, very, very quick. And it is where a lot of our student athletes live because it's a little bit closer to all of our athletic facilities. The third residence hall is Watterson Towers. This one is very popular for pretty much any student that's coming to campus because it's right on top of campus. It houses our largest dining center on campus, and it's also set up kind of funky in like a pod style. So it's very different and students really like that option. The last option is very unique. It's called Cardinal Court. So this is our student apartment style living. So this is for sophomores or above. So say you're only doing 1 year at IVCC and then you want to transfer in, you could skip residence hall life and go directly into Cardinal Court. That's going to allow you to still work with the university to get your utilities taken care of. You're not taking care of all of that on your own, but you are living pretty much in an apartment. So you could potentially have your own bedroom, have your own bathroom. You have a full kitchen, so you're not required to have a meal plan. And then you've got a guaranteed spot for your car on campus. But again, you're living with all other Illinois State students, and you're still getting involved like you would be if you were living in a residence hall. Now, just because you're 2 years out of high school doesn't mean you can't live on campus. You can apply to live on campus, and that is something that you would just work with housing on, and you would just let them know your reasoning as to why you want to live on campus. Now, if you're coming in after 2 years out of high school, then you have the opportunity to go directly into your own off-campus apartment or house. We have some great services for that. One is an off-campus housing database. So once you're admitted into the university, you'll have the ability to log into this database. And essentially, it is all of the different realtors that house students in one location. So instead of going to their different websites and comparing prices, comparing rooms, you can do this all in our big database. You can filter it out by the number of bedrooms or bathrooms you're looking for. You can set a specific price, and you can even know if you want to bring your dog, and they'll filter those out for you as well. And then we also do have an off-campus housing services office. So they're really there to help provide you support and resources as you're going through that off-campus experience. So they do have I'm blanking. They have a lawyer, excuse me, I could not think of the word. They do have a lawyer in their office that you can use if you would like to help have them review your lease, or if you have any questions, if for any reason you need to break your lease, or if you need to work anything out with your off-campus realtor, they are there for you as well, and they really can help you through that entire process. So regardless of whether or not you're required to live on campus or you decide to live on or off campus, we do have the resources out there to help you.
Hello, it's NIU again. Yes, it is good to have those free legal resources for sure. We offer that as well. I hope most institutions do offer that, because sometimes it can be tricky when you're finding your housing when it comes to leases and all of that. So it's good to have those free services on campus. I put over in the chat the link to our virtual housing tour so that you can kind of get a sense of what our housing actually looks like as far as dimensions, the rooms, what every single residence hall actually offers. So that'll be over in that link over in the chat area. But here at NIU, we offer 5 different residence halls and 1 apartment complex. So we also have living learning communities. So if you want to learn a language and be immersed in that, you have that option. We have lifestyle options, extensive dining and meal plans. So the traditional meal plan is all you care to eat, like all you care to eat while they're open. So you can go back and back and back. But you can do other ones where you could do carry out or various different options for those meal plans. You definitely are not going to go hungry in DeKalb. We have food delivery services, Grubhub, Eat Streets, all of that. We have that here. We also have military and post-traditional student services here that can assist with finding roommates if you're living off campus, as well as housing if you're living off campus. We publish every year Northern Star Housing Guide, which similar to what Morgan was talking about, we'll list out all of your different housing options off campus here in DeKalb and all of the amenities that are included, whether or not you can have a dog or a cat or a pet, but guaranteed you will be paying pet rent. So that comes with renting a place with an animal. My strong suggestion would be if you're coming next fall, you should start looking now. So you should start looking online, make a list if you're living off campus, make a list, make a day of it, and come and really get a sense of the neighborhoods, because at the end of the day, I think every single one of us admissions counselors, we want you to find the right fit. And like I said, we're all about community here in DeKalb, NIU, but we also are considered a little bit more suburban because we're closer to the city. And like I said, we're mid-sized, so we want you to get here and feel comfortable. We do also have an upperclassmen residence hall, which is Gilbert. It is beautiful. It's in the center of campus. It has a beautiful fitness center and Starbucks in it. And you have to be a junior to live in that residence hall. So if you don't want to live with the freshies, you can live in Gilbert. And we also have a transfer floor in Northern View as well. So if you do have any questions, housing, if you click on that link, there's a chat. And so during normal business hours, housing will be available to answer any questions that you might have.
Thanks, everyone. So far we've talked about what the transfer population looks like at each school, resources to help you start navigating the transfer process, where you're going to live on campus, and now comes a big part, student services and involvement. How do you become involved on campus, and what opportunities are there for you to become involved as your transfer? Obviously, students who are going there starting off their freshman year on campus have kind of an advantage, but not really. There's still lots of opportunities at each school and ways to get involved. So I'm going to turn over to Becky to talk about these kind of things over at St. Ambrose.
Okay, great. So as Lauren mentioned, all of the colleges and universities on this presentation today will have so many ways for you to get involved. So I think the most important thing I can tell you as a transfer student is to do your best to get connected to the new campus that you'll be attending. So ways for students at St. Ambrose to get connected are through our many clubs and organizations. So we have over 60 active clubs and organizations on campus. They range from academic, professional, cultural, honor societies, so all different kinds of clubs and organizations, different ways and different areas to get involved in. So we have athletics, so we are NAIA institutions, so we have 25 athletic teams, and for the 21-22 year, we'll be adding a men's wrestling program, as well as an indoor winter guard program, which is very similar to color guard, but participates with a percussion band. In addition to that, there are other services on campus that you can take advantage of, such as our counseling services. So your mental health is very important to us on campus. Our Career Center, I mentioned previously, they help you with internships and job exploration. We have a beauty center on campus. Our Accessibility Resource Center is available to students with disabilities to make sure that you are getting the resources you need and are successful in the classroom. And our Student Success Center, again, is the office that offers free tutoring services. We have, again, with the clubs and organizations, so many ways to get involved. If there is a club that you would like to start on campus, you are able to do so. So we have a advisor on our can help you start any new club. So if there is something that you're interested in doing, most likely there are other students who are interested in doing it as well. So we'll work with you to start your own club and organization on campus.
I had mentioned several times about activities specific to transfer students here at Bradley. Those organizations are planned and organized by our Transfer Student Advisory Council. I think every year they have a t-shirt swap out on the quad, which is one of my favorite events that they have, where you can bring an old t-shirt from your prior college and switch it out for some fresh Bradley gear. I'm not advocating you get rid of your IVCC gear, but if you have an old t-shirt that doesn't fit, or you're like me and manage to dribble barbecue sauce on anything you wear when you're eating sloppy joes, feel free to change it in for some Bradley gear. We also have a lot of student organizations. We have over 250 student-led organizations. And if you don't see something that you like, you are more than welcome to start your own organization. Some great examples of that are gaming, rock climbing, Black Student Alliance. We have an organization called the Barbecue Kitten Organization. I always like to throw that one out there just because of the catchy name, but it's like a speech club or comedy club. Anything you want, you can start here at Bradley. We have our Mark and Recreation Center, which is a great way to get involved. We have a swimming pool, a rock climbing wall. We have a dance studio, which we utilize for personal training and training classes, as well as personal workouts in our gym. Late night BU, the students all love that. That is an alcohol-free night where we bring in inflatables, live performances, local food vendors, restaurants, and just let you have a fun time with no curfew. The Activities Council of Bradley hosts activities for all of the students and really are the ones that bring the fun to campus. We've had comedians, guest speakers, lectures, concerts. Within the last couple years that I've been here, we've had the band of Perry and Macklemore come. So big names that you'll get to see on campus.
So for Illinois State, we do offer quite a few student support services. So similar to other schools, we also have a student counseling services, and clearly your mental health is A1 priority as a student, and it's something that as you're a transfer student, it can get a little overwhelming. So we do offer one-on-one counseling services as well as group counseling and quite a few different options that are available for free through the university. We have a great career services office. So this is something that I took advantage of a ton as a student on campus. And what's great is you can continue to use this as an alumni. So you'll have an internship coordinator for every single one of our majors. So you'll have somebody that you can work with directly specific to your program to help lock in that internship that you want. And then you're also going to have a career advisor. So someone who can really help you find that job or that career that you really want after leaving the institution. Another great service that we offer is we have student access and accommodation services. So this is to help if you have, say, an IEP, maybe you have test anxiety, you can use student access and accommodation services to help set in place some either accommodations, whether that is you need somebody to help take your notes or you need longer times on tests. But you can set that up with their office, so then they'll work with your professors for you to set all of that up for your classes each semester. In regards to student involvement, we have over 450 registered student organizations or RSOs that you can be involved in on campus. Similar to other schools, they range from academic-based to religious-based. You'll see cultural or ethnic events. We even have just general fun clubs. We have a Super Mario Smash Brothers club, a ukulele club, and last I checked, our tour guides were looking at starting a squirrel watching club. So there's pretty much anything out there for students. One that I do like to highlight is Transfer Redbirds. This is an organization on campus that is made up of transfer students, and it's really to help you as you're transitioning throughout your first year on campus. You don't have to get involved in this, but it's a really great opportunity to meet some other students who have been in your shoes. They can help provide you with even just some of the simplest of contacts or the simplest of things that you might not even realize you need to know as a new student on campus. They also do offer a mentoring program. So you can pair up with a current ISU student who has, again, done this before, and they can really help as you're going through and transitioning on your first year on campus. Another exciting addition to ISU's involvement is we do have esports. So we are the first public university in Illinois to offer a varsity esports program. So if you are into that or if you're getting into that, there are really great opportunities on campus at both the varsity and the club level. And our varsity team does offer scholarships. So that is something to keep in mind. And then, like many other schools, we do have fraternity and sorority life. So we have quite a few different options for students. And that is a really great opportunity for students who want to live off campus their sophomore year. They'll turn to live in the frat house or the sorority house to get out of that second year's live on requirement. That's a really common option for students. And then it's a really great way to bond and make friends. And again, find your fit and find your community at Illinois State.
Hello, it's me again. I'm going to say that every time because I'm like, oh, I'm on. Okay, so NIU, yes, student services and involvement. Let me say, I was a transfer student. I actually transferred to NIU, and I've worked with transfer students for 15 years, I believe. Probably longer. And I would say my number one piece of advice is to not limit yourself. The only person that is going to limit you and your experiences at the college that you choose is yourself. We want you to get involved and engage in the community and campuses that you go to. So as far as the student services that we offer, we do have our counseling and consultation services. I was just talking to my transfer students today about wellness and using these free resources because it's normal. We're all in this together. What we're going through COVID-19 is normal. And so we want students to be not only physically healthy, but mentally healthy so that they can focus on their academics. So we do have those free services for our students. We do have disability resource centers. center. And again, that is going to really focus on that individual student, what their needs are, and they work directly with the faculty to make sure that those needs are reasonably met. We also have our career services. So again, what I find with transfer students is if you're coming in with that full degree, which we encourage if you have that opportunity, what will happen is you're coming in at junior standing, and typically those transfer students have a divergent pathway. Either you are going to get your 2 years done at that 4-year college and go out into your first professional career, or else you're gearing towards grad school. So we do have career services at NIU that will help you prepare for either. So we definitely recommend our students use that. We have the largest internship fair in the Midwest. And so getting those internships and that experiential learning on your resume is going to be critical for you getting that first career out of college. We have health services right in the center of campus, Husky Food Pantry. Once again, you will not go hungry. So whether you have money or you don't have money, we make sure our Huskies are fed. And we have military and veteran services. We are super military friendly. We have been awarded for that. We have commuter and off-campus programs as well. So we want our transfer students to know that you are our students. You are part of our pack. So we definitely want you to use these services. We hope you never have to use the student legal assistance, but we do have that for you. As far as student involvement, we have over 300 student organizations, and I think Paige or Jack Strelo, I know that's not really Jack, but I know somebody had mentioned if we don't have it, we can get that for you. So you just need 3 other students that are interested in said student organization and 1 student advisor, and you have a new student organization. We have Greek, social, academic, and service organizations. And also, I always like to plug this, like not all Greek is like what you see on television. Okay, so a lot of them are super altruistic and involved, and you're making networks for life. We, of course, have those internships and undergraduate research opportunity. Now, this isn't just for students who are focused on the sciences. Anytime you have that opportunity to do undergraduate research, please do it, because once again, you're building your network and you are working elbow to elbow with PhD level faculty, and you can get published and you can get paid. These are all great things for basically getting you started for your first career. We do have honors transfer students. You need a 3.3 cumulative GPA in order to get into our honors program, and that comes with a whole other set of perks, scholarship opportunities, early registration, and there's so much more that we have, but I only had this tiny slide to put everything on.
Thanks, everybody. So as you can see, student life on each campus is very vibrant. There's lots to get involved in. Now comes the best part for all of you. How exactly are you going to pay when you transfer? Obviously through IVCC, you guys have worked or will be working with the financial aid office. Originally, we were going to try to have our ISAC rep for IVCC talk tonight a little bit about the FAFSA and a little bit about financial aid, which she couldn't be here. But the biggest part you guys need to know in transferring is what scholarship opportunities are available to transfer students when you do transfer. If you're looking at a college right away when you're going freshman year, obviously there are financial aid packages where you get those scholarships. That doesn't mean when you transfer that's not there either. So each school is going to have their own system of doing that and what they award. I'm going to turn it over to Becky to talk about what scholarships are available at St. Ambrose for the transfer population.
Thank you. First, I would like to mention that although we're a private university, we do not have in-state versus out-of-state tuition. So sometimes students don't realize that private institutions only have one set cost of tuition, typically referred to as zone tuition, versus in-state or out-of-state or per credit hour tuition that they charge. So St. Ambrose awards academic scholarships to all transfer students who are admitted and enroll full-time. So this will be based either on membership in Phi Theta Kappa, which Phi Theta Kappa is an honor society at the community college level. So if you have, and correct me, IVCC folks, correct me if I'm wrong, but if students have a 3.5 or higher for one semester or more, you'll be invited to join Phi Theta Kappa. If you become a member of Phi Theta Kappa and were to transfer to St. Ambrose, you receive $16,000 per year in academic scholarship money. Otherwise, your scholarship amount is based on your transferring cumulative GPA. So those scholarships range from $15,500 per year down to $11,500. In addition to these scholarships, we also offer athletic, fine arts, alumni, diversity, and the dual admission scholarship. We do encourage all students to file the FAFSA, but it's not required. If you need assistance in filling out the FAFSA, again, there are assistance through the state, but we do have financial aid counselors that can help students file the FAFSA as well. We would encourage you to apply for any outside scholarships. So there are some great resources out there for you to get in touch with outside scholarships. So collegeboard.com, MyScholarly, why am I drawing a blank? I will send those to you guys. So different organizations that have scholarships available. There is a lot of outside scholarship money each year that goes unclaimed. So if you have time to apply for any outside scholarships, would encourage you to do so. We work with each student to develop your cost of attendance plan, so you have a clear idea of what your cost would be with the university after your financial aid and scholarships are applied. So oftentimes students think that private institutions cost more and they are not affordable, and that is not always the case. So oftentimes, while our initial costs are higher, we offer enough scholarships to offset that and make it affordable as your state school options. So don't discredit private institutions based because of costs initially.
To go off of what she just said, Bradley is also a private university. We do not have out-of-state tuition, but the scholarships that we have really make Bradley an affordable choice. Our top scholarship is the Presidential Scholarship, which is $14,500 for a 3.0 GPA or higher. And then the level below that would be the Transfer Scholarship of $12,500 for a 2.75. Those scholarships are based on your transferable GPA. So if you took a class at junior college that doesn't transfer to Bradley, it would not count against your cumulative transferable GPA. That money is yours each year that you attend Bradley and maintain your GPA. Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society members are eligible for an extra $1,000 on top of that. All you would need to do is send me a picture of your membership certificate and I can get that added onto your financial aid award package. We offer legacy scholarships. If you had a family member that graduated from Bradley, you're eligible for $1,500 on top of that. And then we work really closely with Caterpillar here in Peoria. So if you are a dependent of a Caterpillar employee, you are eligible for another $1,500.
So Illinois State, for us, we are a public institution. Obviously, you guys are hopefully all coming from in-state, so you should really just be worrying about our in-state tuition. As a transfer student, depending on whether you're living on or off campus, your cost of attendance will depend on that. So if you're on campus, generally for a full year, a full-time student living on campus is around $25,000 for the entire year. As an off-campus student, you're taking care of your own housing and meal costs. So really the only fees you're being charged is for your tuition and fees, which is around $15,000. So depending on what type of student you are, again, your cost of attendance will change, but we do have automatic transfer student scholarships that started just this semester. So we're really excited for that and to be able to roll that out. So all that you need is to make sure you're applying during our preferred filing period, which we'll all talk about in a second. And that you're planning to transfer in at least 24 college credit hours. So that's essentially 1 year at the community college. Now, you don't have to have those done at the time of applying. It's just that you plan to transfer 24 in by the start of your time here at Illinois State. With those 24 credits, you're required to have at least a 3.5 GPA. Again, it doesn't have to be at that time that you're applying, just by the time the end of your spring or fall semester end. So you don't have to fill out anything extra for that. It's automatic with the application for admissions, and you would be notified of your scholarship award, the amount, around 2 weeks after finding out your admissions decision. On top of that automatic transfer student scholarship, we do have a competitive Phi Theta Kappa scholarship. So on your application for admissions, you'll indicate whether or not you are a PTK member. If you do indicate that you are a member, and then again, you're applying during that preferred filing period and have at least a 3.5 GPA, you're going to get invited to apply for our PTK scholarship. So it used to be that you could only get the transfer student scholarship or PTK. You can now stack those on top of each other, and both are going to be renewable for your second year here on campus. So our automatic transfer student scholarship goes up to around $1,500 for the year, again, renewable your second year, and Phi Theta Kappa is $500, again, renewable that second year. Outside of that, there are scholarships specific to your major that you can look for, university-wide scholarships, and we do also offer legacy scholarships. So if you do have a parent or a grandparent who attended Illinois State, you'll indicate that in your application as well, and that's an automatic scholarship just by letting us know.
Okay, I just dropped over in the chat a link to our scholarship page. I did want to make mention of a couple of things. If you're not familiar with what Phi Theta Kappa is, it is a national honors organization for transfer students. I think SRET is an advisor for their Phi Theta Kappa. I would strongly recommend, if you're invited into PTK, to do it because the benefits are substantial. We don't offer a Phi Theta Kappa scholarship. We have other scholarships I'm going to discuss, but Phi Theta Kappa itself, there's a portal for transfer students to go to for these substantial scholarships. So again, I would strongly encourage students that if you have the opportunity to join PTK at IVCC, to do it because it is just a really great opportunity. And I say that as a PTK alumna, and also because I didn't know about those scholarships. I just knew I was graduating with a gold tassel, and that made me happy. So get those scholarships. They're out there. Be mindful of your GPA. Here at NIU, the merit-based scholarships are auto awards as long as you are within that preferred time. For spring, the deadline is October 1st. For fall, the deadline is March 1st. Now, those are deadlines that are loosely defined. And so we want everything in. Those scholarships are given out until they're exhausted. So the starting point for that is a 3.0 cumulative GPA. They are stackable as well. Also, hot off the presses, we do have a STEM scholarship. And so this is for transferable students. It's up to $5,000 per academic year. For up to 3 years, you have to be in junior standing, and it's for career development and networking activities, peer mentoring, research, and internship opportunities as well. And I'm going to send that out to you folks at IVCC, so you have that because we just received it. We also have the Aim High Scholarship, and that's going to be based off of several different things. So if you go to our scholarship website, there will be a extensive list of the criteria for that. But if you're eligible for the Aim High, I mean, this really is paying for your tuition and fees. So definitely, I would say make sure your FAFSA is filed, even if you don't think you're going to receive aid. The reason why is because many scholarships actually require that you have your FAFSA complete in order to apply for those. So the FAFSA that you are completing now, which opened up on October 1st, is for next school year. So that's going to be for your 21-22 academic year. So that's my PSA. Make sure you're getting your FAFSA completed. Also, we have My Scholarships, which are the NIU scholarships. There's a extensive list of scholarships based on all sorts of different criteria. The deadline for those is typically January 31st. So this is why I encourage students who are coming in the fall to apply now. The application is free. Get your official transcripts in. And the reason why is because once you are accepted in, you can start exploring all of those scholarships. So you truly get an idea of what your financial award is going to look like. For us, and I believe every school or most schools do have a calculator on their website. And so with that calculator, you could put in, basically if you're going to be a full-time student, that will auto-populate. You could put in your scholarships. You could put loans you might be taking out, whatever it is, what kind of housing you're looking for, and it will basically populate what your bill is going to look like. It's going to give you an estimate. So definitely check out the scholarship website. There's a plethora of really great information on there.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing all that information about the scholarship. So as you can see, it can be affordable even when you're transferring, even with what you're saving from going to Ivy first and then transferring, you'll still have opportunities to get some scholarship money and to make that tuition cost go down. The last segment before we start Q&A is the biggest piece of the puzzle. We know about campus life. We've heard about all the different aspects of how to help transfers at each school, but now it comes down to the actual application process. How do I get accepted? What do you need from me? What does that look like of how do I get into your school? Becky, go ahead and talk about St. Ambrose.
Thank you. So our application for admission is a free application. It's available on our website. We have rolling admission, so that means that we do not have an application deadline. We would encourage students to complete the application at least one semester prior to transferring, if not 2 semesters. But again, we do work with students up until the start of classes regarding admission. Our admission requirement is a GPA of 2.0 or higher. So we have 2 undergraduate majors on campus that do have separate admission requirements. And those are the teacher education program and our nursing program. All other majors, you are able to start taking classes within that program once admitted to the university. We request official transcripts from all colleges and universities. So most of you have probably only have credit from IVCC, but if you have attended any other schools, we would need those transcripts as well. Your high school transcript is only required if you took 3 years or more of the same foreign language in high school. We have a general education requirement of foreign language. So if you've taken 3 years or more of high school foreign language, you do not need to take any additional foreign language with once you're at St. Ambrose, and so we'll just use those high school transcripts to verify that. Other steps in the process include completing the FAFSA, which we've already talked about, and then completing a housing contract and your commit form.
To apply for Bradley University, your first step would be to fill out an application. There is a transfer application available on our website, and it is free to apply. If you've taken any college class, even if you've only taken 1 college class, you're considered a transfer student. So make sure you fill out the transfer application and not the freshman application. But we're also members of the Common App. So if you're planning on applying to several universities, you're not sure what your plan is yet, you can fill out a Common App and it'll send your application to all the universities that you're applying to. We also need a copy of your official transcript, which if you're not sure what makes it official, I get this question a lot, so it's not a silly question. Your transcript needs to come directly from IVCC to us. So make sure to send us your official transcripts. If you have under 24 credits, we will need an official copy of your high school transcripts. But if you have over 24, we just need your IVCC transcript, and make sure to fill out your FAFSA beginning October 1st.
For Illinois State's application process, you'll see our timelines up here. So you can apply online at illinoisstate.edu/apply. We're not a part of the Common App, so you would have to go directly through our website to submit that application. When you apply, if you're coming in for the summer or fall, we recommend to get that application in between September 1st and January 15th. If you're thinking the spring, we recommend April 1st to August 1st. Again, these deadlines are important because these are going to get you in for best consideration for your major. That's also the preferred filing period to get in the running for scholarships. And then it's also setting you up for an early orientation date. So you can come in and you can pick your classes at the same time as our current juniors and seniors are. So that way you know you're getting the classes that you need. When it comes to the application, you'll start by submitting the application for admissions online. With the application, there is a $50 application fee. Now, if you do end up becoming a member of the TRIO program at IVCC, or if you do fill out that FAFSA application and you have any economic hardship determined by that, you can work with our office and we can work with you to get that $50 application fee waived. With the application, we will need official transcripts. So similar to the other institutions, we'll need official transcripts from any schools that you have attended. If you've only been to IVCC, then that's the only one that we'll need. If you have less than 24 college credit hours complete at the time that you're applying, then we will also need your high school transcript and then an official ACT or SAT score. There's an optional personal statement that is added to the application. Again, it is completely optional for you to fill out. For transfer students, I usually tell students, look at the admission requirements that are listed on those transfer admission guides that we recommend. That's going to show you exactly what you need to get into your major. If you're meeting those requirements, we generally will not even need to look at that personal statement. So we're very transparent with our transfer admission requirements, but you do have that option to write a personal statement to give us a little bit more information about you and about your time as a student at IVCC or wherever else that we wouldn't be able to see just by looking at the transcripts. Again, every major requires something different for admission. So there are some majors that have specific course requirements, some that just have a GPA requirement, and they're all going to vary quite a bit. One nice thing that we do lay out both on that major admission guide and on our website is the minimum GPA required for a major versus the average GPA that is admitted into that major. So you'll see something like our nursing program, which is our most competitive program, has a minimum GPA of a 2.5, but the average admitted GPA for that program falls between a 3.7 and a 4.0. So again, that's giving you an idea of how you need to hold yourself as a student throughout your time at IVCC to make sure you're the most well-known candidate or the best looked at candidate when you're looking at the application and when you're actually going to apply. So we just recommend that you're making sure you know exactly what's needed for your major, but pretty much at the start of your time at IVCC to ensure that you're getting directly into that program and having that smooth transition into the university.
So our application is easy peasy. I mean, it should take you all of 15 minutes, and that's if you're a slow typer. It is online, it is free, and also new is that we are on the Common App. So we have our own in-house application, which, like I said, takes about 15 minutes tops. And then we're on the Common App. We do not require an essay. So once again, we're trying to make it as easy as possible. That criteria has not changed to get into NIU. It's a 2.0 cumulative GPA, 24 credit hours completed, and be in good standing at the last college that you attended, IVCC, which I'm sure you will be. So if you're not quite at that 25 or 24 credit hour threshold, then we are going to look at freshman criteria. So we're going to need your high school transcripts as well as your IVCC transcripts. The other thing is that we are now test blind, so we are not going to look at those test scores. So the biggest thing is to apply early so that you are looking at that full package, all of your options when it comes to scholarships, so that you're having those early on discussions. As far as our limited admissions programs, once again, if you go to that link that I gave you to look at your transfer admissions credits, there's going to be transfer guides, and it will say if it's a limited admission program, what that GPA requirement is going to be, and it's also going to have the contact information for the advisor. So one of the most popular limited admissions programs, I think across the state of Illinois, is nursing. It is a competitive business, y'all. So GPA, GPA, GPA. Go after it like you're hungry. The 6 core courses are listed on that transfer guide. We now have a pre-nursing advisor, and I will drop her information in as well, so that even though you're not technically in our nursing program as of yet, you can have those early on conversations. I know that the advising team there, IVCC, is excellent. So when in doubt, reach out to your advisor. Do not add, drop, sneeze when it comes to nursing without talking to your academic advisor, because they are going to be your go-to person. So what we need is simply going to be your application completed and your official transcripts. Again, like was said earlier, in order for that to be official, it needs to come directly from the college or that college's electronic transcript site. So just don't send it to yourself and then send it to us, because you just made it unofficial. So send it directly to any of these schools so that it's not holding up the process. And also, once you apply at NIU, what's gonna happen is you are going to receive an email. You're gonna get a student ID, a ZID, and login information for our My NIU student portal. That portal is going to basically have anything and everything you need to know about your admissions process. So it's going to have your next steps in it. If anything's missing, that's where you're going to sign up for orientation. And once again, as was said earlier, you want to apply early, get in early, and look at those scholarships, but also the orientation. Orientation is a precursor to getting registered for courses. So you do not get to get registered for your courses until that orientation is complete. And then you will meet with an academic advisor. So if you're getting everything done early, then you're going to be able to get that orientation done early. And you're just going to be able to just have a moment before you start at a new university.
Okay, so thank you all for all the insight. I know it's a lot of information to process, and obviously we're going to be letting this giving this presentation, like sending it out. But it's all important information to know, as if you're a high school senior thinking about what you want to do for the next step, whether it's going to IV and then transferring, or whether you are an IVCC student and thinking about transferring either for the fall or the following fall. It doesn't hurt to know that some of this information to get started. We're going to open it up to some question and answer session now. Feel free to type in the chat box if you do have a question. I will start with our very first question that I have for all of you lovely presenters, which is, how do students know where they are in their enrollment process at your university?
I will go ahead and start. We actually have a portal for you called your Bradley Brown portal, and it's the same login information that you use to create your application. You can log back in at any time, and there is a checklist, and you can check and see what we still are waiting from you and what we've received from you so far.
And I will follow up and say it's very similar, but it's called My NIU Student Portal. You're going to log into that, and it's going to have your checklist. That's where you're going to get signed up for orientation. And also, when in doubt, reach out. Email the transfer center. I will drop that email into the chat. But yes, reach out to us.
Similar to both of them, the student application portal where you actually apply for Illinois State, you're going to find that you can see where we're at in the application process. So if we have just received it, if we're reviewing transcript, if the department is looking at it, and you'll also have a checklist. So if we're awaiting any documents, you'll see what it is that we need, and you'll also see when we received those other documents.
And we do not have a portal, but it's my job to let you know where you're at in the process. We review applications very quickly and notify students via email right away, and your official acceptance packet follows in the mail very shortly after.
Awesome, thank you all. And I have another question. Given that we are in the middle of COVID, just to actually get to experience campus, what kind of options do you offer students to visit campus or to get connected with what the campus is like?
At Bradley University in Peoria, we are hosting on-campus visitors, so feel free to call, text the number that I shared, and we can set you up with a campus visit. If you don't feel comfortable visiting campus, there is some virtual tours and virtual events you can attend on our website, and I'll go ahead and post the link to that.
At NIU, we do have a variety of different ways that you can visit with us. So you can do a one-on-one counselor visit with one of us transfer admissions counselors. I just dropped that link over along with the Transfer Center information and email. Also, we have Transfer Get Information Fridays, which is a virtual event. We have one-on-one face-to-face visits that you can do. Those should be up soon, but you can only bring one guest and your masks, okay? Because we care about your safety, our safety. And so you could do that one-on-one visit with an admissions counselor and then do a campus tour. We also have beautiful drone footage of our campus so you can get a sense of what it looks like. You can also just come and pop by DeKalb and grab some lunch and explore the campus on your own. Once again, you have to bring your masks. We are strong about, our safety, your safety here on campus.
For ISU, we are offering both in-person and virtual visits. So similar to other schools, our in-person visits are very limited in size, so we have them capped to very small sizes. With those, I highly recommend, there are visits that are offered Monday through Saturday, but Fridays are specifically when we offer our Transfer Friday presentations. And that is around 30 minutes specific to transferring into Illinois State, and then that's followed by a campus tour. If you aren't comfortable coming to campus yet, then we have plenty of virtual options. We also have that Transfer Friday presentation, but instead is just a virtual information session for transfers. And then you can also do one-on-one transfer admission counselor appointments with myself or my other two transfer counselors in our office. And then there's also virtual department sessions if you want to meet with any one of our majors as well.
And St. Ambrose is also offering virtual and in-person visits. So we encourage you to do whatever you're most comfortable with. The only thing we are not showing on our individual in-person visits are our residence halls. So we definitely have pictures and videos that we can show you the residence halls, but for the safety of our students, we're not allowing guests in the residence halls to tour those. But we are able to connect you virtually with myself, with coaches, with faculty members within your major. So again, we want to give you the best visit experience possible, and can work with you to make sure you've talked to everybody that you need to speak with.
Lauren, I forgot to add one thing. We are now offering virtual visits in Spanish as well. So you will have that option on our campus.
Okay, well, we'll close with one kind of fun question for you all. Based on your institution, what is your one favorite thing about your campus for prospective students?
I'll kick us off, and this is very general, but our quad, I think, is my favorite thing on campus for any students, whether you're coming in as a freshman or a transfer. It is the heart and center and soul of campus. That is where students hang out between classes, after class. Whenever we have big events, that is where you're going to find everyone, and that's where a lot of faculty and staff will hang out as well. So it's really just a very fun place to be. And again, it is the center of campus, and you pretty much get to see everyone right there.
I'll follow up. I will say, I'm going to do two things, okay? Number one, we have a live mascot. It's a husky. So, I mean, that makes everybody smile. When Mission or Mission 2 is walking around campus, it just brings joy to everybody's faces. But I would say the thing that I love the most about NIU is just the fact that we are a community. It's the Husky Pack. We care about each other. We care about these students, you families finding fit. And at the end of the day, if it's with us, we would love it. But if it's with any of my friends out here, we want your student to be happy.
My favorite part about Bradley's campus, it's a real easy thing to answer for me is our brand new business and engineering complex. I love talking about it. It's a very impressive building. I mentioned the maker spaces and the 3D printers and the robotics lab before. And so I just want to talk about our brand new business and engineering complex again. It's state of the art. Please come visit campus because I love showing that off.
I'll go next. My favorite thing about our campus really is our students. So we all have wonderful things to say about our institutions, and we have great faculty members, but what really makes our campus is our students. So one good thing about visiting campus in person is that you'll have some experiences with our current students. That can absolutely happen virtually too. But in addition to our students, we have 2 new facilities that are great. Our Wellness and Recreation Center, and then our College of Business has a new building as well. So those are great things to check out once you're on campus.
Awesome. Thank you all for that input. And thank everyone for tuning in to this presentation. This was a labor of love between Azrat and I of coming together for this. And we appreciate our university and college partners for taking time this evening to be with all of you and answer questions. If anyone ever has any question, reach out to Azrat, reach out to IVCC, any of the counselors over there if you have questions, and reach out to any of these transfer reps as well. They'll be able to answer any questions you have about their college or university and what you need to be doing or what you're thinking about, and they'll be able to bounce the answers to you in seconds as soon as they can.
Yes, and a big thank you to you, Lauren, and all of our college representatives. You guys were awesome, and to give an evening to help us out and answer all these different things that are on our mind, even though some students don't want to ask. But we will be saving this recording and sharing this with our high school partners and current students. So again, thank you for your time and commitment.